Hey, buddy. I'm doing a video
What kind of video?
for my YouTube channel. Hi. I'm glad the negative title of this video caught your attention, and here you are watching this video. It's not that setting goals doesn't work, it's that the way you're approaching your goals might not be working, so I want to offer you a completely different approach. Most experts teach how to create a vision for your life and then write down steps to make that vision a reality. The approach is to view your ideal life from a place of abundance, to map out what your best life would look like and then put a positive action plan to create that dream life. This can be a very powerful approach to goal setting. In fact, every new year I share my goals workbook with my students and subscribers. The way it works is you write down 50 things that you want to have, be, do, and give in your life. The idea is to come up with different ideas without judgment, no matter how outlandish they may sound. Not just financial goals, but all areas of your life, including relationships, spirituality, and your health and fitness. After coming up with 50 ideas, next you narrow it down to the top 3 things that you want to accomplish in the next 5 years, 3 years, and 1 year, and then write out an action plan to accomplish each goal within a specific time frame. Like I said, it's a very powerful exercise, and I'll give you my goals workbook for free. I'll put the download link in the description below this video for you. I've been using this exact goal setting workbook since it was taught to me when I was a teenager by Jay Robinson, the head wrestling coach for the University of Minnesota, and it's had a profound impact on my life. I believe goal setting from a positive perspective, done consistently over time, will help you consciously construct the life God has in store for you. But I've also come to believe that it's not enough, that approaching life from creation and abundance and positivity is only half the equation, as powerful as it is. On this video, I want to offer you a different perspective that you are probably missing completely that is also extremely powerful. When it comes to human evolution, the number one motivator in life is gaining something beneficial. Having more moves us to action, but a very close second place human motivation is the fear of missing out, or FOMO. Now, FOMO is coming from a scarcity mindset. It's the negative side of your humanity. It's the back of the brain where the reptilian instincts reside. Marketers know this all too well and use FOMO to sell you and me products and services. Saying, buy this thing or your life will be harder and worse off, can be just as effective as saying, buy this thing and your life will be easier and better. The reality is we are afraid of failing. We are afraid of being left behind and excluded from the group. As much as we want joy and happiness, we are just as scared of being unhappy and miserable, and as much as we try to ignore it, scarcity and FOMO are inherent to our existence. So rather than negate it and pretend it doesn't exist, I want to share with you 3 steps to embrace it and use scarcity to your advantage to get what you want in life. The first step is to recognize and accept that scarcity, missing out, and fear of failure are actually normal. Understanding that nothing is going wrong for feeling anxiety about not being good enough is the key to unlocking the power of scarcity in your life. While my natural inclination is to be an optimist, and I'm naturally a glasses half full kind of guy, I am also extremely competitive, and while I compete with myself on being my best version of me, I am also very driven to win, to be the biggest fish in the pond, to be the king of the hill, to compare myself to others and beat them to the finish line. I used to think that was wrong and I held self-contempt for feeling that way, but over time I've learned how to use the scarcity side of my masculinity for goodness, to develop that side of me in a healthy way. For example, in my industry, I know exactly who my competition is, and I'm astutely aware of how I compare, and I want to kick their asses in business just like I know they want to kick my ass. But they are also my best friends who I respect tremendously. So I collaborate with them and I make money together with them and I learn from them and I actually enjoy being around them because they are high achievers and I admire their drive. But I'm not going to lie to you and pretend that I don't wake up and think about what my competition is doing and draw as much strength from the fear of losing to them as I do from the gain of winning my own victories. Everyone is so negative about being negative, but it can be just as motivating to wake up and look in the mirror and say, get your fat, lazy ass out of bed and work out, as it is to look in the mirror and say, you're so beautiful and sexy, let's work out. I have a video series here on my channel called Why You Suck at Wholesaling. In those videos, the negative title and approach to teaching can be just as enlightening as a positive approach that is more encouraging. Positive affirmations definitely work and are inspiring, but if you can't take constructive criticism, you are a weak person. Now, after accepting that feeling scarcity and FOMO is a normal human emotion that can be used for motivation, step 2 is to create an anti-vision. An anti-vision is the opposite of a vision. It's what you don't want your life to be. Write down all of the things you are afraid will happen if you don't achieve your best life. When writing down your anti-vision, embrace the negative emotions of a life not well lived that you don't want to experience. What would it feel like to not have, be, do, and give everything you desire in life? What do you not want to become? What are you afraid of having? What are the things you don't want to do? Describe the car you would hate to drive every day. I lived in a rat-infested apartment when my wife and I first got started in life. The dread of going back to that is just as motivating for me as imagining my dream mountain lake house I own. One of my fears is that my kids will grow up unable to make a meaningful contribution to society, that they'll not live their lives with meaning and purpose. Now, I know they have to make their own choices and I only have so much control, but I'm afraid that I won't show up for them as well as I could and fail them as their father and provider. That's a heavy burden that compels me to be a better father. I'm also afraid that I'll get to the end of my life and have regrets that I didn't achieve my full potential. I'm scared of being average or ordinary, so much so that I'm driven to avoid those things from happening. In my goals workbook, there is an exercise where you come up with 3 words that will be written on your gravestone when you die. 3 words that best describe you and the life you lived. I suggest you also write down the 3 words that you don't want to be remembered by. The 3 words that you would be so disappointed if those words were how you were remembered by from your friends and family. Let your anti-vision of a sucky life be the catalyst to avoid those things from happening. And the third step to use scarcity and FOMO to live your best life is to make a habit of the boring fundamentals. Most successful people take the same repetitive actions every single day. I recently heard Andrew Tate say that he does the same daily routines every single day, whether he feels good that day or not. High achievers don't need motivation because they don't base their decisions on whether or not they feel like doing it. When I was in high school, I was an all-state wrestler and I had a world-class coach. My coach made me and my teammates practice technique for hours on end. He called it live drilling. This is where you had to do the same move over and over and over again hundreds of times. It was so monotonous and boring. At first, I hated drilling technique with a passion, but over time I realized that in the live match, the moves would come to me instinctively like second nature. I learned that the boring fundamentals allowed me to execute flawlessly when the stakes were high and on the line. And that is how life works. Why is it that ordinary people avoid the boring fundamentals? Because boring is negative and people are taught to avoid the negative. After all, who wants to do something boring? What high achievers understand is that doing the boring fundamentals is a competitive advantage, and so therefore it's not boring, it's exciting. In my real estate business, I call and make offers even when I don't want to. That's why I'm so good on the phones. Here on my YouTube channel, I release a minimum of 3 to 4 long-form videos every single week and short videos every single day, without fail, even when I don't feel like it, no matter what is going on in my life. Why? Because I'm more interested in not sucking than I am with doing something that is boring or I don't feel like doing. I have anxiety that if I miss a week of releasing content on YouTube, that my channel will crash and burn. Now that fear motivates me to keep producing more content and better content, and as a result, my channel continues to grow and I make a bigger contribution in people's lives. Now if you're watching this video at the time I released it, it's the new year. You're probably thinking about goal setting, but if I'm honest, I think New Year's resolutions are stupid. To me, January 1 is no different than December 31st. I get it, the new year represents a new start, but I'd like to think every single day is a new start. Don't make the new year your best year ever, make every day the best day ever. Finally, I'm sure there will be people who watch this video that completely miss the point I'm trying to make and will take what I'm saying and sharing out of context, and that's fine. The thing I want to be sure and say is that I believe you and I are each a son or daughter of a divine being. I believe that is God, and as such, you and I have inherent value just by nature of being alive. Your worth doesn't change based on what you do or don't do in life. You are worthy of blessings and happiness just because you are alive. But you and I aren't entitled to blessings and happiness. That we have to go out and make happen. And while the decisions that you and I make don't change our eternal worth, they do dictate our experience. And since I think we only get one shot at life, I for one want to make it the best experience I can. Like Grant Cardone once said, money doesn't make you happy, but I'd rather cry in a Lamborghini than on a bicycle. So this year I invite you to download my goals workbook, and in addition to writing down 50 things that you want to be, do, have, and give from a positive place of abundance, do the same exercise from a negative place of scarcity and let me know how it goes. Happy New Year, and I want to wish you much success in all you do. And my prayer for you is that you will be, do, have, and give everything God has in store for you. And I'll see you on the next video.